A warm welcome to You're a Wizard, a magical sleep saga inspired by the world of Harry Potter, where you are the main character. As you take a moment to get comfortable, remind yourself that this is your story, and there are no limits to what you can add to this adventure. Anyone that you meet along the way throughout this saga can be whoever you want them to be. They might be people from your own life, a famous figure that you admire, or a character from the books. So be sure to bring along your own unique imagination. Begin by making yourself nice and comfortable where you are, and give yourself permission to let go of everything tonight. This is your story and your adventure. And when you are ready, just allow the eyelids to feel heavier and heavier until they gently close. Before we begin, we will do a short guided breathing pattern called 3-4-5. This will allow you to slow down and relax, preparing your body and your mind for a wonderful, peaceful rest. When you are ready, breathe in through the nose for 3. Hold for 4. And breathe out for 5. Let all of it go now. Again, that's in for 3. Hold for 4. And release, blowing away the thoughts of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Again, in for 3. Hold. And let it go. Continue to breathe in this way in your own time, and with each breath out, allow your body to sink just that bit deeper into your mattress. And now, allow the breath to fall back into a natural rhythm. Enjoy this new relaxation flowing through your body. Let your thoughts turn to those of magic, wonder, and adventure as we continue our Harry Potter sleep saga. As the rest of your class begins to pack up, you and your best friend follow along in the middle of your group, reminiscing on the ghostly banquet that you will never forget as you file out of the Great Hall. There is a hushed conversation running through the group, and you ponder on the magic that awaits you now in your first and only lesson of the day, potions. Before you know it, you wander down a set of concrete steps, arriving at a small wooden door hidden in one corner of the castle. The door unlocks and creaks open by itself, and as you all shuffle inside, it swings itself closed behind you. The room is quiet and still, full of a deep, enchanted magic. There are no windows here, and the space is lit by a soft lamplight filling the air. There are 2 cauldrons bubbling away at the front of the class atop magical blue flames. The ladles stir by themselves, and a wave of steam gives off a silver haze that drifts through the room. The classroom is bordered by wooden shelves housing an infinite number of glass jars, each one containing a unique magical ingredient. Some of the jars are pulsing with green, blue, or red, giving the room an unusual blend of color. In a locked cabinet to your left, there are hundreds of potion bottles, varying in shape, size, and color, all stopped with cork, and each with their own label, giving the name and effects of said potions. You make your way to one of the square tables at the back of the class, and you sit next to your best friend atop high wooden stools. In the next moment, the door swings open, and in strides the professor. He dons a dark cloak with a smart black doublet underneath. His pale face is curtained by straight black hair that blends into his robe. As he reaches the front of the class, he peers around the room over his long, hooked nose, fixing his eyes on each and every one of you with a slow, suspicious gaze. He may not be the most approachable professor that you have, but he is an incredibly gifted potions master, and if the rumors are true, then his ability with a wand is not to be reckoned with. After a long silence, his monotonous tone echoes through the room. There will be no foolish wand waving today. I do not care if it is Halloween. Books at the ready, and turn to page 394. You rummage in your bag and remove your book, flipping through the pages as quickly as you can, a wave of nerves in your stomach. The page reveals a recipe for a powerful sleeping draught. It is difficult to make and requires accuracy and attention to detail. The book shows a moving watercolor picture, and the potion is purple and runny with streaks of silver running through. Today's task is to brew the perfect draught of this potion, and with that, the Professor wraps himself in his dark cloak, telling you that he will be testing all the potions at the end, before uttering one word: begin. He paces around the tables now, observing each and every one of you very carefully. Written in calligraphy is a list of ingredients, and you make a mental note of things to collect. 10 valerian leaves, 50 grams of wormwood, 300 milliliters of silver rose water, 7 drops of Bavarian dragon extract, the juice of 5 hypnos beans, and 3 teaspoons of powdered root of asphodel. With a small tray in hand, you begin to potter around the shelves, taking it in turns with the other students to collect your ingredients. First comes the valerian leaves, taken from the beautiful flowing purple plant at the back of the class. You take a pair of scissors and snip off the brightest leaves that you can find, collecting them on your tray. Next comes the wormwood, a dark green weed that grows in the forbidden forest. You snip off a handful and place it on the apothecary scales next to you, adding a 50-gram weight to the other side. The scale tips to the left in favor of the wormwood. So, with that, you carefully trim the edges, bit by bit, until you have a perfect balance in the scales, and you add the wormwood to your tray. You approach a huge glass vase with pleated patterns and a fluorescent pink liquid inside, dotted with stardust. You pour the silver rose water into a jug, stopping exactly at 300, and add it to your growing pile of ingredients. You shuffle open a little drawer and quickly grab a vial of the Bavarian dragon extract, no bigger than your little finger. To your right, there is a huge bowl of brown hypnos beans. They have a hard, wrinkled shell and could almost be mistaken for dates. You pick up 5 beans and add them to your tray. And finally, you arrive at a huge pestle and mortar grinding a rich golden green herb, the powdered root of asphodel. You scoop up 3 measured teaspoons, tipping them into a little pot on your tray before heading back to your table, ready to begin your brew. A small cauldron floats just above your table with a blue fire underneath. The room works in silence now, and you carefully follow the instructions in your book. You combine the valerian, the wormwood, and half of your rose water into your own pestle and mortar, grinding it into a thick paste. There are shades of purple, green, and pink mixing together. You stir clockwise for 3 and counterclockwise for 2, repeating the sequence 5 times as instructed. Then you pour the mixture into your cauldron, and it sizzles on impact. With a wooden spatula, you fold the mixture over itself and add the 7 drops of dragon extract. As the liquid comes to a boil, you take the beans and crush them with the back of a knife. You hold them one by one over the bubbling potion and squeeze out all of the juice. Then you stir counterclockwise 15 times as you pour in the remaining rose water. You are to let it stand for 1 minute before adding the asphodel. Despite following the instructions, it is far too thick, not at all similar to the picture in the book. The other potions around the room look the same as yours, and every student seems as flustered. You scan the page now, making sure you have not missed anything. Suddenly, you feel something brushing on your feet, and as you look under the table, you are met with the kind face of your little house elf, Daphne. She whispers now that before you add the asphodel root, you need to squeeze in 2 more beans and 1 more cup of rose water, and then, at the end, you should add a pinch of lavender to finish it off. Are you sure? You ask her. That's not what the book says. But Daphne only gives a soft smile, telling you to trust her, and disappears out of sight. The professor appears behind you now, as if hearing your whispers. He peers into your cauldron and raises his eyebrow with a grimace before striding back off to the front of the class. Quickly and quietly now, as the professor's back is turned, you collect 2 more beans, a cupful of water, and a pinch of lavender that already smells so wonderful on your fingertips. You squeeze in the beans and pour in the water, and the brew begins to loosen now, becoming runny as you stir. With bated breath, you sprinkle in the powdered root of asphodel, and sudden streaks of starlight begin to mingle in the liquid. And finally, you place the lavender nervously into your potion, crossing your fingers under the table. The liquid becomes much darker now, a beautiful rich purple that only highlights the silver even more. And suddenly, the wonderful smell radiating from your potion is making your eyelids feel heavy, and a tired smile fills your face as your best friend watches on in amazement. You quietly share the secrets from Daphne. Then they check behind that the coast is clear before quickly gathering the extra ingredients. You watch with a proud smile as your friend brews the perfect potion as well, much to the surprise of the other students. Noticing the attention around you, the professor sweeps over, staring curiously at your potion. The smell hits him, and for a moment he gives a subtle smile before quickly hardening his expression and looking between the 2 of you with a suspicious gaze. After an agonizing pause, he produces 2 small vials from his cloak, filling them with your potion. And through gritted teeth, he hands the vials to you with 1 word: Congratulations. And with that, the cloaked professor strides back to the front of the room, dismissing the class. As quickly as you can, you take your wand and cast a spell to clean your equipment. You sway your arm gently, and your cauldron floats back into the cupboard, stacking neatly inside. You collect your bag from under your table and shuffle on your thick, warm coat and your woolly hat. You slip the vial into your pocket, and with your best friend following behind, you shuffle out of the room, a mischievous smile creeping on your face. Waiting for you outside your class is the little house elf Daphne, and she runs up to you, hugging you tight at your knees. Daphne explains that the professor always plays that trick on first years. The recipe in the book is wrong. She couldn't resist giving you a helping hand just to see the look on his face. With a shared laughter, you thank Daphne for all her help and for being a wonderful guardian. She gives a proud smile before leaning in for a whisper. Daphne tells you that she can show you a secret passage into the village that is much more fun than the usual long walk. With a new excitement, you follow behind little Daphne as she leads you through the maze-like corridors. You arrive at a small archway leading out to the vast grounds of the castle. In the distance, standing proud against the autumn rain, is the huge willow tree, and that, Daphne adds, is where we are going. You share a confused look with your friend, unsure how an old tree could be any help getting you to the village. But with a knowing smile, Daphne skips out into the rain, telling you to keep up. You take your wand from your pocket, hold it gently above you, and speak the incantation, Pluvia Scutum. Your wand pulses with a spectral blue light. It wisps above your head, and in the next moment takes the shape of an ethereal blue umbrella. You walk out onto the castle grounds, and your umbrella charm keeps you completely dry as you listen to the gentle patter of the rain. You follow behind Daphne and cover her with your umbrella as you wander down towards this mighty willow tree. En route, the elf explains that this old willow was uprooted many years ago and placed in this exact location so as to conceal a hidden passageway into the school. It leads directly to the old abandoned house on the borders of the village. The willow is enchanted and will guard this secret with ferocity, but she knows a little spell to get you all inside, she adds. The sprawling branches of the willow tree are peppered with golden brown leaves. Its thick trunk twists around itself as it creaks and sways in the autumn wind, standing strong amidst the relentless rattle of the rain. Then the tree begins to shudder, and the endless leaves rustle on their branches. In one swift movement, the leaves fall away and plummet to the floor, covering the damp green grass with a murky golden brown. The bare branches wrap around the tree trunk now, hugging itself in the cold wind. In the next moment, Daphne holds up her hand and speaks the spell Immobilis. The mighty willow tree expands now, and its branches open up like the petals of an enormous flower. At the base of the tree, its thick, twisted roots begin to untangle, revealing a small tunnel, a faint torchlight glowing within. Daphne reassures you that you are completely safe here. This passage was built to help those in need, and here you will be guarded not only by the school, but by the earth itself. You share an eager smile with your best friend and cast down your umbrella charm. Then you follow behind your elf and descend down the roots of the tree into a vast gold tunnel leading directly to the wizarding village. The tunnel is infinitely bigger than you imagined and filled with a rich, enchanted air. There is a wonderful magic at work down here. It swirls all around you, creating a deep sense of peace. It's almost as if you can feel the core of the earth breathing slow and deep, radiating a wonderful heat and harnessing its power to give life to this magical world. As you step gently through the tunnel, lined by the thick roots of the willow, you ask Daphne how many of these passageways there are. 7, responds the little elf, or at least that's how many have been found. Down here you feel at one with the earth, and the gentle pull of gravity allows all of your muscles to soften and relax, letting go of any remaining tension. You are moving slow and steady now, and your breathing begins to slow down as well. You are entering a state of utter tranquility, blanketed in the soft warmth of the earth and filled with a beautiful peace that quiets your mind and runs through your entire body. Before you know it, you reach the end of the tunnel. Above you is a large trap door covered with dark wooden panels. The thick roots of the willow peel off the earth around you now and gently push up the floorboards. One by one, you climb out of the passage, up into the old abandoned shack on the borders of the village. As the three of you emerge out of the trapdoor, the wooden panels slide themselves back into place and seal up tight, leaving no trace behind. The entire house is swaying back and forth as the wind seeps through the cracks in its walls outside the broken windows, you notice the rain has stopped now, and in its place is the low sun shimmering with gold over the village. There is not a single decoration to be found. The bookshelves are bare, save for the wisps of cobwebs and thin layers of dust. All the furniture has been covered with old blankets, and there are square patches on the wall where old portraits or paintings once hung. Empty candlesticks rest on the mantelpiece, and a bare fireplace sits against the far wall, cold and forgotten. You follow Daphne through the house, and for some reason you feel the need to be even quieter here. Perhaps because of the desolate silence that fills the air, broken only by the creaking and twisting of the wooden shack as it battles with the autumn wind. You remember hearing many rumors about this house. Tales tell of a werewolf that used to reside here and was once a student of the castle. At the end of every month, by the light of the full moon, the student would travel here with 3 of his closest friends to begin his transformation. The student was a quiet, kind, and intelligent boy, but the werewolf was wild, unpredictable, and dangerous, and so his friends spent many months learning a powerful magic to turn themselves into animals as well. And through this magic, they could accompany their friend in his werewolf form, keeping him safe from himself while protecting the outside world. These 4 companions were known as the Marauders. No one knows their true identities, and perhaps they never will. You arrive at a huge front door that sways from left to right. A spotlight of sun beams through the porthole window, drifting across the floor. Daphne tells you that she is needed back at the castle, and she must leave you for now. She will find you later at the giant's hut. She hopes you enjoyed your little detour, and with a mischievous smile, she clicks her fingers and disappears out of sight. Your best friend opens the front door, and with the thought of the warm tavern and a cold butterbeer in your hand, you follow them out into the crisp, dry autumn air.